Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today again I am discussing the important multiple choice questions on organic evolution for NEET aspiring students. Right? We hear organic evolution process and theories. For that the important multiple choice questions I had it here. The ultimate source of organic variations is sexual reproduction, natural selection, hormonal effects, mutation. The correct option is mutation. The greatest weakness of Darwin's theory was his failure to give a satisfactory explanation for overproduction, struggle for existence, variations, survival for the fittest. Correct option is variation. Which facts cast doubt on Lamarckism hypothesis? Indian women have been getting their ears pursed for thousands of years, but not a single baby is born with pursed ears. Giraffe have long neck because they have to eat leaves from tall trees in their habitat. Deers can escape from agile enemies because these can run very fast. High altitude pines in Himalayan mountains have sloping branches so that snow falls to collect upon the branches in winter. The correct option that doubts the Indian women have getting their ears pursed for thousands of years, but not a single baby is born with a pursed ear. This is the correct option. One of the objects of plant breeding experiments is to produce varieties having special properties such as high yield resistance to certain diseases, etc. The method is to produce mutants in the laboratory and then subject them to the particular kind of solution needed. From your common sense knowledge, which of the following statements for the seeds would be most effective in producing mutations? Irradiation of seeds with visible light, treating the seeds with strong chemicals, irradiation of seeds with X-rays, heating the seed. The correct option is irradiation of seeds with X-rays. If population of organism is introduced into a new territory where environmental conditions are favorable, the population grows rapidly because rate of reproduction increases, predation is nil, there is no limitation of food supply, more offspring array. Correct option, there is no limitation of food supply. Okay. Now here, the next one. Which concept is attributed to Charles Darwin? Acquired characters are inherited. Every cell must come from pre-existing cell. In the struggle for existence, the fittest survivors, a gamete will carry only one of a pair of contrasting characters. Correct option is the fourth. A gamete will carry only one of a pair of contrasting character. Mutations can be induced in bacteria by exposure to high energy radiation, growing different strains in the same medium, adding all required substances in the nutrient medium, starving the bacteria, that is, growing different strains in the same medium. Mutations are due to infection by microorganism, abrupt changes in genes, dominant characters of one of the parents, mutational factor. The correct option is mutational factors. Rate of mutation in a plant can be increased by X-rays exposing the roots to air, efficient photosynthesis, prolonged vegetative production. Correct option is X-rays. Mutations are mainly responsible for constancy in organism, variation in organism, maintaining genetic continuity between parents and offspring, increasing the population rate. Correct option is variations in organisms. We cannot induce a specific gene to mutate because genes are located on chromosomes. Genes are very small and cannot be seen under compound microscope. It is very expensive to do so. Scientists have not yet found the method of doing so. Correct option is it is very expensive to do so. X-rays are useful in detecting fractures of bones, yet it is advisable to avoid overexposure of human body to X-rays because X-rays films are not sensitive to long exposure. X-rays will induce harmful effects in gonads, which may affect the progenies. Sources of X-ray will be used. It produces severe vibration. Second, X-rays will induce harmful effects in gonads, which may affect the progenies. Hereditary variations in plants have been produced by the use of auxins, gibberellic acid, X-rays, DDT. It is X-rays. Mutations are always responsible for distinct variation, minute, unrecognizable variation, better and useful changes, increasing population rate. Correct option, distinct variation. Darwin proposed the theory of origin of species by mutation, natural selection, hybridization, inheritance of acquired character. It is natural selection. Concept of sudden genetic changes which breeds true in an organism is visualized in the principle of mutation, independent assortment, inheritance of acquired characters, natural selection. Correct option is mutation. In formulating the theory of evolution by natural selection, Darwin was greatly influenced by writing Lamarck, Mendel, De Vries, Malthus. It is Malthus. For evolution, the most essential requirement is developmental anomaly, acquired characters, natural selection, mutation. Correct option is natural selection. Sudden heritable change is called meiosis, mutation, mitosis, recombination. Correct option is mutation. Theory of origin of species by natural selection was proposed by Darwin, Mendel, Bose, Lamarck. It is Darwin. A new species is formed when an individual with a new genotype is formed due to exchange of chromosome segments during crossing over in gametogenesis. Genotypic changes accumulate in a population, resulting in its reproductive isolation. Variation with the new phenotypes are produced due to new combinations of genes during reproduction. Homologous chromosome changes segments during crossing over in gametogenesis. Correct option is genotypic changes accumulate in a population, resulting in its reproductive isolation. The use and disuse principle or theory of inheritance of acquired characters for evolution was proposed by Hugo de Vries, Weizmann, Lamarck, Darwin. Correct option is Lamarck. A revolutionary concept in biology was projected by Charles Darwin in The Origin of Species. It has been discussed as Zumplast's theory, use and disuse of organs, gene mutation, natural selection leading to survival. It is natural selection leading to survival of fittest. The possibilities for hereditary and evolutionary changes are greater in species that reproduce by fission, sexual means, budding, spore formation. It is sexual means. Mutation is change which affects parents only and is never inherited. A factor responsible for plant growth, change that is inherited, a change which affects the offsprings of F2 generations only. It is change that is inherited. The evolution of a species can be considered as the sum total of its adaptive changes preserved, natural selection, mass conservation, evolution, laws of motion. The correct option is natural selection. The book Origin of Species was published in 1809, 1858, 1956, 1859. The correct option is 1859. Theory of mutations or discontinuous variations was first proposed by Correns, Treshmark, Hugo de Vries, Erasmus Darwin. Correct option is Hugo de Vries. Next one, the idea of survival of fittest was originally presented by Malthus, Lyell, Wallace, Spencer. It is Spencer. The ship on which Darwin was appointed as naturalist was Bengal, Seagull, Beagle, Century. It is Beagle. Who published the book Origin of Species by Natural Selection in 1859? Lamarck, Darwin, Wallace, Operin. It is Darwin. Which of these was most influenced of natural selection theory by Darwin? Malthus, Malthus' essay on population, inheritance of acquired characters, Mendelian laws of inheritance, struggle for existence. It is Malthus' essay on population. Frequency of a character or a mutant gene in the population is expected to increase if the phenotype or its gene is dominant, favorably selected, recessive, sex linked. Correct option, favorably selected. The key point of Lamarck's theory was was or Lamarck's theory on evolution is stated as inheritance of acquired characters, natural selection, survival of fittest, evolution is irreversible. It is inheritance of acquired character. Organic evolution would not have been taken place if individuals in a population did not show gene variation. Individuals did not transmit acquired characters to their offspring. Somatic variations did not get inherited. Somatic variations got transformed into genetic variation. Correct option, the first one. Individuals in a population did not show gene variation. Adaptation of a species is acquired character. Acts metamorphosis hereditary. It has hereditary character. To be successful event for evolution, a mutation must occur in germ plus DNA, somatoplasm DNA, plasma protein, RNA. The correct option is germ plus DNA. The theory of natural selection proposed by Darwin to explain organic evolution was based on modifications of organs through use and disuse, prodigality in reproduction, struggle for existence and survival of the fittest, inheritance of acquired characters, appearance of sudden large variation. Correct option is prodigality in reproduction, struggle for existence and survival for the fittest. One major criticism against Darwin's theory of evolution is that it does not explain the presence of vestigial organs found in mammals. It is over time overestimates the reproductive capacity of organism. It does not take into account variations was heredity. It does not take into account variations with heredity. Lamarckism and guesses that organisms tend to grow in size, inherit characters acquired by their parents, are influenced by environment, reproduce in large number. The correct option is inherit characters acquired by their parent. De Vries pioneered theory of mutation to explain mechanism of evolution. Evolution material on which he had experimented was fruit fly, garden pea, evening primrose, China rose. It is evening primrose. Mutations are generally recessive, harmful, useful, dominant. Mutations are generally harmful. According to the new Darwinism, which one is responsible for evolution of organism? That is mutations, natural selection, both of these. It is both of these. Discontinuous variations are acquired characters, essential features, mutations, non-essential features. It is mutations. Mutations are changes with are inherited, are not inherited, may or may not be inherited, are acquired by organism during their lifetime. They are inherited. Mutations can be caused by X-rays due to changes in chromosomes, genes, DNA, all of these. The book Philosophic Zoologic was written by Darwin, Lamarck, Mendel, Haeckel. It is written by Lamarck. Theory of continuity of germ plasm was produced by Gregor Mendel, Lamarck, August Wiesmann, Haeckel. It is by August Wiesmann. Role of mutations in evolution is reproductive isolation, genetic variation, genetic drift, none. It is genetic variation. Wiesmann formulated his theory of continuity of germplasm in 1886, 1859, 1863, 1959. It is in 1886. The concept of organic evolution was hatched by Darwin, Wallace, none of both of these. Allo- Allopatric speciation is due to mutations, geographical separation of population, migration of members of a species from one to other populations, hybridization between closely related, that is, geographical separation of population. Natural selection theory of Darwin is subjective because stresses upon slow of small variation and small variation, stresses upon interspecific competition, explain that natural calamities are uh, calamities take a heavy and it is correct option stress upon slow and small competition. A child has a single kidney since birth. This variation is positive meristic, negative meristic, substantive ballistic. It is negative meristic. Which of these mutations are not inheritable? Somatic, gametic, zygotic. It is somatic. Which law of evolution states that warm-blooded mammals of hot and humid areas about abundant melanin pigment? Doll's law, Glogger's law, Cobb's law, Gauss law. It is Glogger's law. Which of these was the contribution or device? Theory of mutation, law of dominance, law of segregation, theory of natural selection. It is theory of mutation. Genetic drift. It is an orderly change in the gene frequencies, has nothing is common with inbreeding, produces great fluctuations in large population, is a random change in gene frequency. Correct option is random change in gene frequencies. Which statement is true about gene mutations in organism? A mutation that is detrimental in one environment may prove to be a beneficial in another environment. Mutations arise only when needed by the species. Process of mutation is not affected by low intensities of X-rays. Mutations are always disadvantageous to the species. Correct option: a mutation that is detrimental in one environment may prove to be beneficial in another environment. The sum of all genes held by the members of a population is called genotype, gene pool, phenotype, gene flow. It is gene pool. In our modern understanding of natural selection, the fittest individual are those who produce many offsprings, but a few survive up to sexual maturity, leave very many living descendants, are best adapted to the environment, are best equipped to cope with the special environmental condition. Correct operation are best adapted to the environment. In a famous experiment, Wiesmann cut off the tails of newborn mice generation after generation. At the end of the experiment, the tails of mice neither disappeared nor shortened. This experiment supposed Darwin's theory of natural selection, shows that Lamarck was strong in his inheritance of acquired characters, disproves the De Vries mutation theory, proves that tail is an essential organ of vertebrate. It shows that Lamarck was strong in his theory of inheritance of acquired character. The theory of natural selection states that heritable variations arise due to changes in gene complex. Environment has a role in evolution. Natural selection acts on a favorable variation which appear among individuals. Acquired characters during the life of an individual are inherited. Correct option: natural selection acts on favorable variations which appear among individuals. Next one: which evidence does not favor Lamarckism concept of inheritance of acquired character? Melanization in peppered moth in industrial areas, lack of pigment in cave dwelling animals, absence of limb in snake, presence of webbed toes in aquatic bird. Correct option: melanization in peppered moth in industrial areas. Several species of pigeons have evolved as a result of sexual reproduction, artificial selection, natural selection, metabolism. Correct option: natural selection. Most striking example of point mutation is found in a disease called thalassemia, night blindness, Down syndrome. It is sickle cell anemia. Neo-Lamarckism depends on mutation and variation, only variation, enormous fertility, mutation, and natural selection. Correct option is mutations and variation. Who was the scientist who cut the tails of mice for several generations and yet found that the characteristics of tailness was not inherited because Darwin, Watson, Lamarck, it is due to Wiesmann. H.J. Muller was awarded Nobel Prize for his discovery that chemicals can uh, induce gene mutation, discovery that ionizing radiations can induce gene mutation, work on gene mapping in Drosophila, efforts to prevent use of nuclear. The correct option: discovery that ionizing radiations can induce gene mutation. That's all for today. Again, we will meet in the next video with more questions on the other topics. Thank you.